Do you really live in 400 square feet?
Yeah, 420. Yep.
420.
Yep.
What was the first night like?
I'd actually lived in smaller spaces before, so it wasn't bad. I love it.
It's like on the edge of Tokyo. They do this on the way to Narita. You see those buildings where they live in even less.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, in New York, a lot of people live in fairly small apartments. The nice thing about mine is that it actually has the functionality of an apartment twice its size, and so it's actually a really great place to live.
This is like an experiment with moderation, and you've been pretty successful in it in terms of paring down the stuff in your life, getting rid of a lot of clutter. A lot of people like that, and they're attracted to it. But would this have been possible, or would this have been as attractive in the go-go days of the economy when everyone was talking about growth?
Well, obviously, the economy is going to have an effect on this and make people more open to looking at it. But absolutely, I think this has always been a good thing to do. And the reality is that since the 50s, we've gone from 1,000 square feet average home to 2,500 a couple of years ago with smaller families. So we have triple the amount of space.
Go ahead, Scott.
No, triple the amount of space and a lot of room to fill up that space. But a lot of people point out that the stuff that we buy to fill up that space has actually gotten cheaper over the years because of globalization, cheaper costs. What's gone up, though, is the cost of healthcare and education. Could you have downsized if you had a chronic illness or you owed a lot of money on student debt?
I mean, you can downsize at any point, so absolutely. But
Graham, I'm going to give you equal time here. We have Marissa Mayer on. We've got Susan Sandberg with all this lean-in stuff. Every single guy out there paying alternative minimum tax this morning is saying, here's a guy that cashed in 7, 8, 9 figures, whatever the number was. I don't want to pry into your business. And yeah, you're living austere, but you've got 487,000 shares of Exxon on the side generating a dividend. I mean, do you have a sidecar finance thing going? How do you respond to the people out in America who have no choice? They have to live austere, and they didn't sell a company.
Listen, I am very fortunate, and so I'm not trying to tell other people how to live. All I'm saying is that I believe that as America has supersized itself over the last 50, 60 years, we have a lot more debt, we have larger environmental footprints, and happiness levels have basically flatlined. And so if we're more conscious about what we bring into our lives,
well, like that,
there are ways to live smaller and actually save some money and lower your footprint and live happier.
Let me bring in Ian Brenner, our guest host. He knows every business class cabin around the world.
Look, I like the concept, and you know, there's a big difference between forcible austerity on the part of the Greeks, for example, experiencing a depression right now, and it's being told by folks outside, yeah, you know, right now you're going to cut, you're not going to have the opportunities, than say the Japanese, who don't fetishize growth the way we do in the United States. And you know, for decades now, we say it's lost decades. From their perspective, they're actually quite comfortable with the fact that they have, you know, zero growth and live in small apartments and all the rest. And
there's no uproar?
If you're making that, there's no uproar in Japan. You don't see any, you see any Occupy Roppongi going on right now in Japan? It's not happening.
People are not happy with the fact that their economy is stuck in a no-growth mode.
I think the average Japan, it was 70% approval right now for Mr. Abe. The Japanese are pretty happy with their government, and you all saw the way they were able to respond as a community after the Fukushima disaster. All I'm saying is that, you know, somebody who sits down and embraces the fact that, yes, they're wealthy, they're capable of doing more, but they're going to live a little bit more modestly, something that not a lot of Americans are going to celebrate, you do pretty well in Japan, my friend. So, I mean, that's not a bad thing.
Or in Rome right now. I mean, Pope Francis has taken this tact. It's an abrupt shift at the Catholic Church. Do you think you're on the edge of a vogue here, or something that has lasting legs, if you would?
I don't think this is going to be for everyone, but what I can say is that it resonates. I gave a TED Talk, 1.7 million views, but op-ed was most popular for 5 days straight. Something about this is clearly resonating. I think it's just that people want a simpler life. They want a financial life that makes sense. They want to live within their means financially and environmentally.
More importantly, Tom, I think chicks dig it. I think he's going to do well on this.
It's a break exclusive. Bremer, chicks dig it.
Yeah, I think that's
well, it's also a lot easier to live simply if you live in a city like New York City. Urbanization plays a big part in it, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and we've gone to just 50% of the population being urban in the last couple of years. We're going up to 70, and so density is really important. So New York City specifically, we've got like 600,000 people coming, and we only have room for 50 or 100,000. So density is really important. We also have Plan YC, which is our environmental goals. This helps that as well.